Hello, good morning, and welcome to Techturks. Today I have Tarebi. Tarebi is the founder of Qshop, and Qshop is an e-commerce website for everybody really to get online. Tarebi, welcome to Techturks. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so before we start, before Qshop, I understand Qshop started in 2020, and we'll get to that, and we probably know why. So what were you doing before you took the plunge into,
into e-commerce,
into the startup world?
Okay, so this Qshop isn't my first startup. Okay. So I've worked in tech close to 20 years.
Okay.
Before Qshop, I had a software company, and we built custom solutions, worked with public sector, worked with private sector. It was nice. Okay. It was now what's not great about building custom solutions is you don't have much control over what you're building. So sometimes you have exciting projects, sometimes you have boring projects. And 2020 rolled around. Of course, everybody knows what happened in 2020. Tons of small businesses were struggling to get online. There was no way we were going to build custom for every single one of them. In fact, we referred a lot of them to Shopify because there are lots of solutions that do the same thing. But the consistent feedback I got was, Tarebi, it's expensive. I don't want to pay for anything in dollars, and it's difficult to set up. And then the next thing will be, okay, can you set it up for me on Shopify? And I'm like, okay, if I'm going to set it up for you on Shopify, then maybe there's a gap there. So I built the MVP late 2020, and literally in like 3 months we had 2,000 businesses.
So that's great. Sometimes one thing that I realized, like, you build a great product, and then getting people to onboard those people. Right? So I can imagine a 2,000 great number. Yeah. I'm sure you envision much more than that.
Of course.
As well. So what kind of challenges do you face? Or do small businesses face in
transitioning to e-commerce? Okay.
Yes.
So there are a few. So one, there's a big knowledge gap. Because for most Nigerians, when they think e-commerce, they think the Jumias, they think Kongas, they expect that we're a marketplace. So the expectation is I'm going to add my products and I'll blue, and that's it.
Yeah. The next question is, so Qshop, before I even get to the journey.
Yeah.
You have people today that they say, they use Instagram or they're Facebook, and that's enough for them. Yeah. And so why
Qshop?
Why Qshop? Why Qshop?
So e-commerce, rather Instagram, WhatsApp is great. If you're just starting out, you're trying to get over the trust barrier. People want to chat with you a bit. How much is this one? Am I sure you're real? Is it a scam? But then as you start to grow, and you're getting to a point where you've put in the work to grow a following on social media, you can't keep up. You don't have your customer data. You don't have sales reports. How many people are disciplined enough to sit at the end of the day to extract all that data to save it somewhere else? Nobody does that. So where Qshop comes in is it helps make that transition from a social media seller to now proper e-commerce, where you can receive payments locally and internationally. You have your records, you can run proper digital marketing campaigns, things like that.
So and then you have the opportunity is great, but then I see people like Flutterwave, Paystack, they're also trying to do the same thing. So what differentiates you from them, especially when I even think about the payment engine, it's going to be for one of them. So it's like you're really competing with
so when
collaborating as well.
So when I got the idea for Qshop, none of those ones had started, and I always joke that if I'd known, I may not have done it, because literally maybe like a week from launch, then Flutterwave stores launched. But the interesting thing is that because we're an independent platform, we're able to give the small businesses more flexibility. So if you come on Qshop, you can receive payments with Flutterwave or with Paystack or with Stripe or with Providence Bank or whoever we integrate in the future. And then what Flutterwave particularly did that was great for us, because they did so much marketing. By the time we're reaching out to businesses, they're like, oh, okay, like Flutterwave stores, I get it.
Which I always say is actually one of the great things when big companies try to come into that space. They reduce your marketing effort.
Absolutely.
Or that education. So walk me through. Through that. What type of businesses generally do you think is ideal for Qshop ideal for?
Qshop supports all retail businesses that sell physical and digital products, as long as it's legal, of course. We don't do too well with services. We probably will support that in the near future. But for today, across all categories. So where we're really seeing businesses do big numbers are fashion and home appliances. And it's interesting how like there are so many businesses you've never heard of before, and then you look at their reports and you go, oh wow, like you're doing all of this and no one has heard of you before. So there are lots of businesses that are
let me
quite well.
So let me just give a typical example or a question. Okay, today, so I have a lot of stuff that that to look at. I like to test a lot. I buy some stuff, I use it for 1 week, I get tired of it, and then I just want to sell it. But now, I mean, I want to sell, or I want to give it away. But when you give away stuff to people, they might give it to somebody else, and so I want to give it to people who, and sometimes pain is actually a good reflection of intent to use. So if let's say I want to set up a second-hand shop business, right?
How does that work with
How would that work?
So we do have a number of businesses that focus on selling thrift clothing.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that we're ideal for like a part-time, like, okay, I just want to do a garage sale and clear some things in the house, because it's even though it's really low friction, you do still have to put in some work to set up and properly. You don't need any technical knowledge, but by the time you're putting in your inventory and enabling payments and doing KYC, if you want to sell a few things in your home, you probably don't want to go through all of that. Oh, you do? Okay, then great.
Yes, I do, because I want to keep so like you said, I want to know who bought from me. Okay. Who wants to buy from me again, or I want a mailing list. I want to create a mailing list, and I just want to see that sales report, especially from a tax perspective.
Okay, so in that sense, then we're perfect for you. So you would go to our website, qshop.ng. You put in your personal details, your business details, select the payment providers you want to use.
Can you create like domain names, or do
you could buy the domain name through us, or you can connect your existing domain name.
Okay, fantastic.
You can integrate your other analytics tools. So say you already use Google Analytics, or you have a Facebook Pixel ID, things like that you could integrate. If you don't have any of that.
I mean, there's really some exciting stuff under the hood.
Under the hood, zero technical knowledge.
Under the hood, you've done
zero technical knowledge, and then you once you do your KYC, which is like in minutes, you're good to go. So you can start selling.
So when you say KYC, can you explain that?
So we have to verify you're real.
Okay.
And
you're not a scammer.
You're not a scammer. You're not using stolen credit cards to buy from your store. Things we have seen some cases like that. So
because I mean, like going back to like when you talk about, I mean, one of the things I've noticed about Instagram, which is great as well as a quick sell, I mean, display, is also you don't actually what you saw is not what you bought.
Absolutely.
Kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So that is another disadvantage.
Absolutely.
Of that.
Absolutely. And I think another thing a lot of Nigerian shoppers don't realize is that, so they're all skittish about putting their card details online. But what they don't realize is if you put your card details online to pay for something and you don't receive it, or what you receive is wrong, you can actually report it to your bank and you get a refund.
Of course, yes.
But when you do a bank transfer, it's like, it's
definitely.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Nigerians are more conversant with bank transfers because they remember their account, they remember their account numbers. But then again, the problem, you don't know what you're transferring from.
Exactly.
It's not as sophisticated as cards.
Exactly. But that's why that's one of the reasons we did the integration with Providus, because that allows you to receive bank. If you're more comfortable doing bank transfers, then
Okay. So if I started that and had all my information, which is my KYC, all my events,
your products, your product descriptions,
so like from the minute because I entered Qshop this morning, when I start here, so I actually put my name and my email. So like how long would that process take me?
If you have everything ready, literally you can be up in 10 minutes. Literally, you have your product pictures, you have your descriptions, you have your prices. Typically what happens is we find when they are setting up, they speed up and then it gets to products and radio silence. Radio silence. So what we did was we did an integration with Meta so that they can import from Instagram. Because we recognize that a lot of these sellers are coming from Instagram. So you probably already have your product pictures on Instagram. You connect your Instagram account and pull in your pictures. So that has helped.
So you're in a space where, you set up in 10 minutes, you receive, your subscription is in Naira, which is a positive. You are more flexible than the others. You have multiple payment options that people don't have. So how do you get that news out there? How do you move people from these other people to you? How do you create that awareness?
So
How do you pay for all this? I'm looking for advice here.
I was just going to say it's work in progress.
It's work in progress.
It's work in progress. So we've tried, and we're still trying. We're doing constant experimentation. When you're trying to onboard, thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands and hopefully millions of businesses, and you don't necessarily have that budget, then you have to be super creative. So we've done some partnerships. One partnership we did recently was with Ekiti State Government, where they wanted to digitize some businesses. So we trained them on e-commerce and then onboarded them. We've explored partnerships with also different organizations, banks, things like that. Of course, there's the traditional digital marketing, yada, yada. And then what I am most focused on as a founder is that the experience for those who are already with us is fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're not a perfect product. Of course, there are times that things go wrong. But what's more important is that our support is on it. So a lot of the businesses that have come to us from other platforms, from more mature companies, the reason they have come to us is support.
Yeah.
Because we're literally holding your hand through that process.
Yeah. So how big is your company in terms of people?
We are a team of 20 now.
Okay.
21,
okay.
Yeah.
And so like, is it mostly because you're a tech business, right? So are you mostly men, or are you like diversified?
So I am very, very pro-woman. In fact, my husband calls me feminist leader.
It's very good. We're in the same camp.
Great. So, but in terms of gender balance, I believe we're about 45 to 55.
Good, yeah.
It's in favor of the men, unfortunately. Nothing against women.
No, I don't.
But that's where we are. I'm working very hard to.
But that's good, especially in that tech type of environment. And your subscribers, like, I'm going to get they're predominantly women.
Yes, they are. They are. They are. We have it, and it hasn't been anything we deliberately set out to do. It's just we tend to be very enterprising,
which is great, and which supports exactly some of the arguments that we make, because since I think there's an opportunity for us to like balance, should I say, the workforce or business owner, because technology allows you to do more things than you could do before.
Exactly.
So your ecosystem now, how many subscribers?
So right now we have about 23,000.
Okay.
I'm not going to say how many are paying.
Sorry. Okay, don't worry.
But we have about 23,000.
No
we have a decent number paying. We want more.
Of course, definitely.
And we're working really hard to also reactivate some that are dormant, because of course not all your users will be active. So yeah.
Okay, so final question. AI.
Okay. My favorite topic.
Of course. Everybody has to be everybody's favorite topic. My favorite topic. Who's going to do?
My favorite topic.
Who's going to displace me? Yes, you started there. I know. So, how does that help? Help accelerate your business? How does it help? So it can accelerate. It can into your business. It can depend.
So there are many ways. It depends on how you use it. What we are doing right now, one, we're using AI in a lot of our internal processes to improve our outputs. Two, we launched like a pilot program to train small businesses via WhatsApp, and it's all AI based. Because I mentioned earlier, there's a massive gap with e-commerce. There's a lot of learning that has to happen before you can leverage the full power of e-commerce. And there's a limit to how much we can scale that on a limited budget. So we've started a pilot with the WhatsApp AI training, and we've seen promising results so far. So that's something we'll roll out soon. And then of course, we're going to integrate into our actual product as well.
Fantastic. Tarebi, thank you for coming to Techturks.
Thank you for having me.
We'll continue the conversation offline.